The crystal spires of Eldoria once caught the morning sun and spun it into a million dancing rainbows that cascaded down onto the shimmering streets below, a spectacle of pure light that infused every corner of the kingdom. Every petal on every bloom sang a silent symphony, their vibrant hues pulsing with an inner luminosity. And the rivers, fed by mountain springs, whispered ancient lullabies as they wound through meadows of bioluminescent moss. Here, magic wasn't just a force. It was the very air the people breathed, woven into their laughter, their dreams, and the intricate, glowing tapestries created by the revered sky weavers who wove light itself into form. Young Elara, with eyes the color of twilight and fingers nimble from years of practice, often sat by the sunstone fountain, feeling the joyous hum of Eldoria's heart resonate through the ancient polished stones, a melody of peace and boundless energy. But a chilling silence began to seep into that warmth. Subtle at first, like the faintest shadow cast by an unseen cloud, a whisper of unease in the once vibrant air. The emerald leaves on the whisperwood trees lost their vibrant edge, turning a muted, weary green, their gentle rustling replaced by a heavy, almost mournful stillness. The singing rivers seemed to falter in their melody, their waters growing strangely still, reflecting the skies with a dull, indifferent gaze that offered no shimmer or life. A creeping apathy, a quiet resignation started to settle upon the people of Eldoria, dimming the very light in their eyes, stealing the spring from their step and the joy from their voices. It was called the Shadow Blight, not a roar of destruction, but a suffocating hush that promised an end far more terrifying than any storm, an erasure of memory and hope. Elara, though young, felt the subtle shift more acutely than many elders, her sensitive spirit attuned to the very heartbeat of her homeland. She saw the intricate patterns of light she tried to weave in her lessons unraveling, not by her mistake, but as if the very threads of magic themselves were growing tired, losing their will to hold shape. The joyous hum she once felt from the sunstone fountain was now a faint, mournful thrum, like a distant, forgotten drumbeat echoing in an empty hall. One evening, as the last of the sun's fire bled from the sky, she watched a luminous star petal bloom, its edges dimming, its inner light flickering with a final, desperate gasp, before it simply closed, not wilting, but ceasing to shine, its purpose forgotten. A cold dread, sharper than any winter wind, pierced her heart. For this wasn't just a threat. It was an insidious erasure of everything Eldora was, everything she loved, everything that made life worth living. She knew then that something had to be done. For the elders, their wisdom dulled by the pervasive gloom, spoke of ancient prophecies and forgotten wards, but their voices lacked conviction, their eyes devoid of the spark of true belief. It was in a forgotten alcove of the Grand Archive, hidden behind tapestries that had themselves begun to fade into colorless dust, that Elara found it. A single glowing manuscript, its pages pulsing faintly with defiance against the encroaching darkness. It spoke of the Heartstone of Lumina, a primordial source of Eldoria's light, now rumored to be deep beneath the shadowed peaks, where the blight itself was said to originate, festering in the earth's forgotten places. Only a spirit utterly undimmed by the creeping despair could rekindle its fading flame and restore the kingdom's vibrant soul. Armed with little more than her innate purity of spirit and a determination that burned brighter than any fading star petal, Elara slipped away from the quieting city under the cloak of a moonless night. The path to the shadowed peaks was treacherous, each step colder, each breath heavier with the encroaching gloom. The very air thick with an oppressive silence that pressed down on her lungs. The vibrant world she knew melted into shades of gray, the familiar sounds of nature replaced by an eerie stillness, broken only by the crunch of her own small boots on the desolate ground. Yet, even as fear threatened to grip her, Elara clutched the faint glow of the manuscript to her chest, a tiny beacon in a world losing its light, a fragile hope in the face of despair. She remembered the resonant laughter of Eldoria, the warmth of its perpetual sun, the singing whispers of its rivers, and the vibrant dance of its magic. She would not let it become just a memory, a story told in hushed tones to children who had never known true light. She would face the heart of the darkness, no matter the cost, to rekindle the flame that was Eldoria itself, to bring back the song and color to her fading home.